What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Angel.
and this is PM Football. It's the last week of college football. I can't believe we've been doing this podcast this long already. It's not even a podcast. At this point, all right, we're going to skip over this, actually. I'm not going to get into it.
We don't know what we are.
I was going to say, we were a podcast at the beginning. Now we're doing just specific videos. Let us know what you guys like better. Yeah. We never really asked you. We kind of just changed it.
We're just experimenting. We don't know what we're doing. We just like talking ball.
Yeah. And so anyway, back to what we're talking about. It's the final week of college football already.
Yes.
And there's so much that's going to happen this week.
The final week of the season always means a little bit more, but man, this one just has so much implications.
And going back to last week, so many upsets.
Yeah.
On teams that we were for sure had automatic bids already.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, out. Alabama, probably out.
You never know, though. But look, as of now, out.
A&M, definitely out.
Yeah, they're done.
Indiana, I still think has a good chance.
They're still in. They're in the bracket.
They have one loss.
Yeah. To the number 2 team.
Yeah. The fact that they're 11, though, is kind of crazy.
I'm genuinely surprised that they're still in it.
Really? I was going the opposite. I think they should have been higher than
I really thought the committee, I'm not saying I would have kicked them out personally. I don't know why I would have done, honestly, but I honestly thought the committee would have just been like, no. I thought the committee would have found any excuse to not include them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the biggest shock for me right now is that they still have Miami in there.
I don't know why Miami's so high.
Did they just think that either SMU or Clemson are going to lose this week?
I don't know.
Because it's SMU Clemson right now.
Yeah.
How would Miami be the 3 seed, first of all? Second of all, how would they even be in it still? They're 10
if it were up to you.
Hold on, but I need to make this argument.
Okay,
because people are going to get mad at me because I just said, why isn't Indiana higher? Again, they've only got one loss, so you got to put them in there still, but you can't put them as the 3 seed. I think best case scenario, they're the 11 seed. I'd put Indiana over them. Their only losses to the number 2 team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Miami lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is 7-4, but it's Georgia Tech. It's not a very convincing win. I need to look this up if you want to take over for a second.
I was kind of gonna bring it up. As of now, my top, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. My top 4 would be Oregon 1. Texas do what?
Clemson plays South Carolina this week.
Yeah.
Okay. I see why they have Miami in there still. It's South Carolina at Clemson.
Yeah. But if Clemson ends up winning.
If Clemson wins, they're in.
Yeah.
They're in the ACC championship game.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think SMU already clinched.
What is the standings of the ACC?
So right now the standings are SMU, Clemson, Florida, or Miami, and Louisville. Louisville's out. They got 3 losses.
Okay.
Miami's got 1 loss. Clemson has 1 loss. And SMU has no losses.
To me, the top 4 would be Oregon 1, Texas 2. Call me crazy.
Okay, keep going.
Give me Arizona State 3, or whoever wins the Big 12 3. I'm just assuming it's Arizona State. Let's say Arizona State wins the Big 12.
Before you move on to that, You're giving a 9-2 team the 3 seed?
I just think Arizona State would be better than SMU or Clemson. That's just me personally.
It's Boise State.
I wouldn't have Boise State as a first round bye. Because my 4 would be SMU, assuming they win it.
I think I'd go Oregon, Texas, assuming Texas wins. SMU, Boise State, Arizona State. At that point, all those teams have...
You would have Arizona State above Ohio State? Because you brought up 5 teams.
I said 3 or 4.
You said 5.
You said 5 was my 12th seed.
Oh, I get you.
I would have Arizona State as my 12th seed. I would go Oregon 1, Texas 2, SMU 3, Boise State 4, and then Arizona State 12th.
I'm fine with SMU being 3, but I would have, regardless, I think I have Boise at 12.
I would put Boise State over. If we're going strictly off of record, Boise
But
State
I don't
has a
think
better
that's
record.
how this works. I don't think you could
I
just
think
base this simply
Boise
off record.
State, ASU play each other right now. I think Boise State wins.
I think there's definitely an argument for it.
And they have a better record, and I think that they'd beat them. So I would put them at 4.
Okay.
And then I put ASU at 12, just because they've had a great end of the season. Didn't start out hot. Like, they went unranked for a couple weeks, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to be honest with you, regardless of who's 4 and 12 between Boise State and ASU, both are getting killed by Ohio State.
And I also wouldn't even go out to say Arizona State is going to be in it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It might be Iowa State. BYU could still potentially sneak in there, depending on how the games go this week.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado even still has a chance, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those 4 teams, specifically Colorado and probably BYU, there's no way I'm putting them in a top 4 seed.
No.
Probably Iowa State too. And I mean, if you're going to say Iowa State, who's 9-2 and has a 6-2 conference record, you can't say the same thing. You can say the same exact thing about Arizona State. They have the same exact record and same conference record. Why are they a 4 seed?
No, I get you. I will say though, I like this bracket better than last week's.
Yes. Plus, hold on, before I finish, let me finish it real quick.
Yeah.
Boise State's only loss is to the number 1 team in the country.
Okay.
By 3 points at Oregon.
You know what? You got a fair point. You brought up a really good point. Then at that point, yes, I would have Boise State at 4, Arizona.
I'd put them at 12. Like, I think whoever wins the Big 12 is going to be 12.
Probably.
Which is
crazy.
Boise State has such a good resume at this point, unless they were just to completely poop their pants on next week.
All right, so let's say hypothetically,
Who do
Boise
they play?
State, Wyoming.
If they lose,
I'm pretty sure it's Wyoming.
No, they played Wyoming this past week.
Oh, my bad.
They play Oregon State.
It's not a gimme.
No. Now, Oregon State is terrible this year.
All right, let's say hypothetically.
Hold on. Oregon State's 5-6.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing for a bowl game.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
Not only are they playing for a bowl game, they're playing knowing if they win,
they ruin.
They get to say, "Hey, we're the reason you're not going to the playoffs."
You're not the first Group of 5 school ever to make it to the playoff.
Yeah,
we're the reason why.
Honestly, that would excite me more than the bowl game. Yeah,
that's a trap.
That would excite me. Yeah, that would excite me more than the bowl game. Honestly,
and I mean,
being able to say we are the reason why you're not.
Since we're on that topic, who makes it?
I was literally about to ask you if, let's say, hypothetically, Boise State loses this week to Oregon State. Who is your G5 school going in?
Either. I mean, are any of them ranked?
I have one.
I mean, I have a couple, but I'm just making. You go ahead.
I'm going Tulane.
I mean, this is one of mine.
If I'm the committee and Boise State ends up losing this week to Oregon State,
I just want to see if any of them.
I'm going with Tulane.
Okay, there is. Tulane is currently the highest ranked Group of 5 school outside of Boise State. They're 17. At 22, which is a team that I just saw looking at the rankings, a team in that conference who lost to Boise State, UNLV.
Honestly, I wouldn't put them
in. I don't think you can. I think at that point it's Tulane. So, I mean, Tulane probably.
Who does Tulane play this week?
Tulane plays... Memphis.
That would be a solid win.
It's a good win, but, I mean, do they even beat Memphis?
I don't think they would. I mean, I think they might be. I think they do. I think
Memphis is 9-2. Tulane's 9-2.
That's what I'm saying.
Does Memphis get in?
Nah, I think it's
They're
too
both
late.
9-2.
Yeah, but at least Tulane's ranked.
Okay, but they lose. We're under the assumption they lose this game. Would Memphis not flip with them? Because at that point, Memphis would have 2 losses. Boise State would have 2 losses.
Now, that, as much as I hate to say it, and I really don't want to say it, but at that point, you look at
Army. Their only loss is to a ranked Notre Dame team.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5 right now, like in the rankings, not in that. bracket, but ranking-wise, they're 5th.
Yeah.
I think you have to put Army at that point.
Just what I'm saying.
Which would be the worst possible thing ever.
I would.
Army was... I couldn't get that out.
Oh, Lord.
I was very hyped up about having a Group of 5 school in here at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If Boise State messes this up somehow and isn't that team, that's just a throwaway game.
But at the same time, would that not just add to the beautiful chaos that is college football this season?
Yes, but it ruins the actual game.
But I'm telling you, but back to my whole point, no matter who is 4-12 between Arizona State and Boise State, they're getting killed by Ohio State. Both teams are getting killed. Ohio State would have the easiest ride.
Am I crazy? Like, let me throw this out there. I think if Ohio State and Oregon played today, and they will be playing each other in 2 weeks, bearing Ohio State losing to Michigan somehow.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even if Oregon loses, they're still in.
Probably.
They are.
Yeah.
Mathematically, they're still in the Big Ten championship. Yeah. I think Ohio State beats Oregon.
I don't know.
All right, so this is the question I was going to ask you before we started. If you are a team like Indiana, for example, and let's say for some reason Ohio State loses this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
To Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State is sitting at 2 losses now.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep Ohio State out? But let me preface it by this. Indiana is now in the Big Ten championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lose to Oregon in the Big Ten championship. They have 2 losses now.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you put in?
Between Indiana and Ohio State?
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Why?
Head-to-head.
But the one made it farther.
I get that, but then at that point, you're looking at the head-to-head.
I understand. All right, so that was a bad example. I'll be honest. I thought I was going somewhere with that.
No.
What I was trying, the thing I'm trying to bring up is, as an SEC, it makes way more sense as an SEC team.
Okay.
Let's say you're Texas, right? You're sitting at
I'm
what?
Texas.
You are Texas.
Okay.
Where I need to get back to the rankings. Here we go.
Texas.
SEC. Who's in front in the SEC right now? Right now, if the season ended today, it'd be Texas and Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Texas has 1 conference loss. Georgia has 2 conference losses. So for the sake of this example, we're saying Georgia, everything stays the same. Georgia goes to the conference championship game against Texas, loses to Texas. They now have, yeah. They now have 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they'd have 3 losses.
Georgia, yeah.
Georgia would have 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has 2. Going to the conference championship game, in my opinion, is worse than not playing, than just completely not playing in it.
I mean, because at that point, if I had to choose between a 3-loss Georgia and a 2-loss Tennessee, I'm choosing the 2-loss Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying.
Ahead. Yeah.
So it's hurting Georgia's case of even making it to the conference championship game.
Yeah.
So that's the point I'm trying to make is if I'm some of these teams, I don't want to make the conference championship game because if I lose that game, that adds an extra loss to me.
But you can't go in with that mentality. Like if you make it to the conference championship game,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to the committee, another loss opposed to Georgia would be 6-3 in the conference. We're 7-3 in the conference because they're 6-2 right now. They're more than likely going to win this week. So at that point, they'd be 7-3. Tennessee would be 7-2.
Yeah.
Or 6-2, actually, because they wouldn't have that extra game. But they have 1 less loss.
Yeah.
Who do you put in at that point?
The one with 1 less loss.
But they also have 1 less win.
I don't know. If you're asking me between a 3-loss Georgia and a 2-loss Tennessee, I'm putting in a 2-loss Tennessee. That's just me.
Yeah,
personally.
but now that's just penalizing Georgia to making it to the SEC championship.
Okay, but we're also penalizing you for losing 2 prior games. We're not.
No,
it's
I know.
Not like we're only penalizing you because you lost that 1 game.
But Tennessee doesn't even have the opportunity to play in that other game to lose it. Let's just say it's flipped.
I mean, that's just part of it.
So, for my example, exactly, we're flipping it. Tennessee plays Texas. Let's
But
say
that's not.
let's say Tennessee wins.
Is there even a possibility of Tennessee going?
If Georgia loses this week,
I feel you.
Tennessee plays Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Texas loses. Now they're all 6-2
Yeah.
or 7-2 or whatever. Do all of them make it?
I really hope. I mean, I would feel bad for the committee if that is
Like
a circumstance where everyone in the SEC is tied. Like, I honestly don't know where you go.
It's going to be such a bad look.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. Not only will it be a bad look for the committee, it will be a bad look for the SEC.
And call me crazy, but I think it's already a bad look because I think they might put them in there anyway with 3.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Nah.
You don't think they would put Georgia in the playoff if they lost the SEC championship game?
Okay, if they
that was the point.
If they lost the SEC championship game, then
I think
I could see them still being
me
in
saying
it.
it like that. Does that make more sense?
Yes, because you were kind of just all over the place.
All right, I was trying to make it very like pinpoint, but
No,
like
it was
me
all
saying
over
Georgia
the place.
losing the SEC championship game, like how you're going to penalize them for making the SEC championship game, having to play one extra game because they made it to the championship.
But if it, like I said, if you're making me choose between a 3-loss Georgia and a 2-loss Tennessee, I'm choosing the 2-loss Tennessee.
But they didn't even make it to the championship.
I get that, but
so then, how are you going to put them ahead of them? Right now, they're not even ahead of them
because there's no reason.
I know, but like, do you see what I'm trying to make?
I get what you're trying to say, but name a good reason other than they made the conference championship game when, as a whole, the conference has been down this year. Like, there's not really a valid reason to put in a 3-loss Georgia when a 2-loss Tennessee is still available. I don't care.
Because Georgia beat them head-to-head. That was literally the conversation we just had about Indiana.
Those were 2 different examples.
Why?
Because Ohio State only has 1 loss to the number 1 team.
Okay, and I just said the example of Ohio State loses again, right? Indiana gets
to the same number 1 team. No.
I know, but Indiana loses, right? They play Oregon and lose to Oregon. Now they have 2 losses.
Yeah.
You just said you just said you were going to put Tennessee in.
Yeah.
Because
but their 2 losses are to the number 1 team of the nation, and the first loss was by 1 point.
Who are you referring to? Ohio State?
Yeah.
I'm saying for the sake of this, Ohio State loses to Michigan, and they don't even get into that. You said
Indiana instead.
You said you would still put in Ohio State even if Indiana loses.
Because then they would have the same amount of losses. It's different.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is because Tennessee has less losses. Ohio State and Indiana
both have 2.
Exactly.
They would.
That's when it goes to the head-to-head.
But they would have the same amount of losses.
No, they wouldn't. Georgia would still have more.
I know, but they beat them.
But they have less losses.
I don't know. I mean, they do. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it's 1 extra game. They played an extra game.
It doesn't matter. You lost an extra game. Like, you lost.
But that's what I'm saying.
Game.
You're penalizing them for making it now.
That's just how it is.
I know, but like this is the whole argument I'm making is if
you're all over the place, dude.
If you're a team, I don't want to make it to the conference championship game.
I completely disagree.
I mean, obviously,
I strongly disagree.
Obviously, you have the chance of clinching your spot.
Yeah.
But you also have the chance of hurting yourself and not even making it.
That's a risk I'm willing to take. A million out of a million times.
Would you rather not just be Tennessee though and be like, all right, I finished the season with 2 losses. I'm in the dance.
Nah.
You don't want a confirmed spot.
Nope. You're
crazy.
I'm crazy for wanting to go in the conference championship game.
You're crazy for not wanting a for sure spot in the playoff.
Put me in the conference championship game.
You'd rather have a conference championship loss than.
Well, I'm not going in thinking I'm gonna lose.
Duh, but like, there's a chance. There's a chance you lose.
Yeah, of course there's a chance I lose, but I'm not going in thinking I'm losing.
If you don't make it, there's no chance you don't make it.
Well, I'm not going in thinking, hey, we better not lose this.
Oh, really?
Exactly. So what are you talking about?
But there's a chance. There is no chance if you don't play it.
If you asked me, would I rather sit there and be the 9 seed or go in and clinch a first round bye, I'm going in and I'm making my argument to get a first round bye.
And you lose and now you're out.
Or you win and you get a first round bye.
But I'm saying there's a risk with it involved.
Yeah, I don't care about the risk. Give me the first round bye.
There's no risk involved if you don't make it. Tennessee's in no matter what at that point.
Get me to the conference championship game. I want to fight for my.
I mean,
you're telling me if Georgia beat Texas the first time,
yeah.
So why wouldn't they want to? Why wouldn't you? You're telling me you beat them the first time. You'd rather be the Tennessee, just lay back and sit there and get ready to get pounded in the first round,
Tennessee,
or go, yeah,
to
or
who?
To whoever they're gonna end up playing. Let's say Georgia and Texas end up swapping.
Okay.
You're gonna sit there and just get pounded in the first round by Texas because you'd rather just sit and chill, or you, Georgia, fighting to go into the conference championship game to face a team you already beat this year.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you'd rather beat Tennessee? You're insane.
I'd rather have a spot.
Oh my God, I cannot believe you're insane.
You'd rather have a spot in the playoff.
Take me to the conference championship game.
It's just a question I had. It's not
an
like
insane question. It's an insane
it's
question, and it's an insane answer because
argument.
The whole point of just sports in general is that we are going to go and compete.
I understand.
We are going in. We are competing. We're going to fight for what we get.
But why isn't
to just sit back?
But why isn't it the same argument for the?
Because it's not.
Because it's like, okay, obviously you want to be in the conference championship, right?
Yeah.
Obviously you want to be in the playoff too, right?
Yeah, but give me
a chance of being in the playoff, and then that's when I do my stuff.
Give me a chance
I want a national championship. I don't care about my conference championship. I want a national championship.
You don't care about the conference championship?
I'd rather have a national championship.
Guess what? I'm liking my odds a lot better if I get first round bye than if I just sit back.
But if you lose, you're out.
Well, don't go in thinking about losing.
That's what
obviously because you're who's talking about losing? It's you, not me.
You're just saying it's an absolute. I'm winning this game,
dude. If I'm going in, there's no other thing in my mind.
But
other
there's
than
a chance you lose.
Who cares? Who cares? You go in like, all right. I really need the audience to like. Am I going crazy right here?
There's a chance you lose.
Dude? You're telling me if you had the chance to be like, hey, we're going to the conference championship, we could do this. Mm-hmm. You'd rather be like, nah, I want to sit back.
If I'm in a spot where I'm automatically making the playoff,
that is an awful mentality. That's a whole.
But it's the same mentality.
Can you imagine being
the playoff?
How if you're the head coach?
That same mentality.
If you're the head coach,
you get an extra.
How are you explaining that to your players?
Hold on.
To your staff, to your AD, to your donors, to your fan base. How would you even explain that?
There's not. You're making an argument about nothing because.
What?
Listen.
Oh my!
If Tennessee wins this week, it doesn't matter because if Georgia wins, Georgia's in it anyway.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't necessarily matter. That's my whole thing. Is if Georgia were to,
oh my God, I feel like I'm losing my mind.
You want Georgia to win.
If I'm Georgia, I'd want to win.
If you're Tennessee, you want Georgia to win.
Sure, yeah, but that wasn't the question. That was not the question at all.
If you're Tennessee,
that was not the question.
You want Georgia to win. So they get into the conference championship and not you.
All right, look.
Because then you'd both have the same amount of wins, but they'd have one more loss.
Look, if I'm Tennessee, I do want Georgia to lose. However, I wouldn't be mad if they won because then I get to sit back. Yeah. But if I had to choose, I'd be like, no, I hope Georgia lose. I'd rather be.
You get an extra week. Again, I get the bye. You get the bye, right?
I'd rather if.
But guess what? They have a bye too now.
I promise you, every single person in Tennessee's facility is like, if we.
But from a strategic way of doing it, why would you not want a bye right now? You would have a bye. You don't play in a conference championship week.
In the conference championship.
I know, but you said the whole thing is about getting the bye, right? You get a bye.
But that's a fake ball. Like that doesn't matter.
You have the week off.
That doesn't matter. No.
You get the okay.
I'd rather play in a conference.
How is it any different?
Because you're playing for a conference championship game.
Okay. You'd rather win a conference championship than have a chance of winning the national championship.
If you win a conference championship, obviously you have a chance of winning the Natty. So like,
I'm saying there's a chance you lose that game though.
Of course there is, but you don't go in thinking about like, what are we talking?
So just because I'm thinking we're not going to lose, we're not going to lose.
What are you saying? That wasn't English.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
You are just automatically saying if I make the conference championship game, I'm winning it.
I'm saying if I'm a team or any team, I want to play.
I'm so glad in the conference because this is such a good conversation.
This is an awful conversation.
No,
this is such a.
I
feel like I'm going insane.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I don't think you understand what you are saying. You were
What
saying
I
you'd
want- I
rather
want
just sit
you-
back
I want-
and not compete for a conference title
because
and then just go end up losing in the first round.
oh my God, I'm going to use the same thing you just said. Why would we lose in the first round? I'm going into that game thinking I'm going to win. Why would I lose? It's
Why
the
would
same
you?
thing.
Why would you lose in the conference championship? If it's the same thing, then why would you lose in the conference championship?
Because
game?
you're guaranteeing your chance of getting a national title.
What's the point of going to the playoffs if you're losing in the first round? What's the
Huh?
point? What's the
Why
point of
would
going
you
to the
go
playoffs?
into it thinking you're losing in the first round?
Why? Because if we're doing your theoretical thing,
No.
you're saying I'm choosing to sit back to play in the first round
Yep.
and potentially lose. I'd rather go in the conference championship like,
And
hey,
lose right now?
but, oh my God, what makes you think we're losing?
What makes you think you're losing first round?
I don't care. I'd
Oh
rather
my
go into the
God.
conference championship game.
But again,
That's
the whole
such a weak mentality. That's an awful
but
mentality.
it gives you an automatic bid into the playoff.
I want that conference championship.
Cool.
I want to say I'm the
we
best
can
of the
agree
conference.
to disagree.
I
'Cause
feel like I am
fully-
going
I fully
insane.
think that if I'm Tennessee, I'm pulling for Georgia to win, so they make it to the conference championship, not us. And if they lose another game,
No.
they're out because they have 3
I
losses.
promise you, not a single person in Tennessee's facility, not a single Tennessee fan is hoping Georgia
I think
ends
that's
up winning.
completely crazy. I think Tennessee fans are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Fans, Tennessee fans.
Okay, all right. Maybe there are some fans that are thinking the way you're thinking, which, by the way, awful mentality. If you're a Tennessee fan, shame
It's
on
not-
you if
it's
you're
not
thinking
a bad.
no.
It's
That's an awful
It's a
mentality.
strategic strategy.
If I was in Tennessee's facility and anyone in that facility even brought up, I'd rather sit out the conference championship game.
It's not
and
even that
fight
you're
to-
sitting out of it.
That's
You can-
what you.
No, but listen, you can still win this week and still not be in it.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is you win against whoever you're playing this
Yeah.
week, right? And you just hope Georgia wins too.
But no, I want to be in the conference championship game.
But I get pride, sure. Is that it? Is that literally the only reason for pride?
No.
Then what else?
To play, does playing in the conference championship just mean nothing?
No, I'm not saying it does.
That's literally what it's
No.
it's like.
It doesn't.
Wait, no, that is what you're saying because you're
No.
literally like, who cares?
No.
No, that was your
No.
argument because you're
I'm
literally
about to
like,
ruin
why
what
would
you're
you?
gonna
Why would
say.
you play in the conference championship if you could play for the Natty? That was your literal words.
No.
Why? Yes, it was. Oh my God, replay it. Your literal words were
You're twisting what I'm saying.
no. Oh my God.
Say what I just said.
You said why would you play? Why would you want to play for a conference championship game if you could play for a Natty?
Yeah. You automatically are in if you're Tennessee. No matter if you win this week,
It's
you
hurting
can't
my
lose
brain.
another game, right?
No,
Why aren't they in?
I'm not disagreeing with that point.
Georgia wins this week.
Yes,
They win it. They lose in the national or in the conference championship.
I
game.
still think there's a chance they're in.
Over who? Same thing for Penn State. Penn State doesn't make it to the Big Ten. They have 1 loss now. They're in.
Look, it's up to
Indiana.
it's up to the committee.
Indiana.
Who they would
You're
be
gonna
in
put
over
you're gonna
that.
put a 3-loss Georgia team over Indiana.
They might have argument. Look,
I know, but that would be terrible. For that would be.
it's the committee. All they do is terrible stuff.
I know, but then we're just back to the same. It's the same thing we're gonna do.
All I'm saying is,
But like, does that argument make more sense?
no.
Like, Penn
it's
State.
all.
Penn State would be in over them, right? 1 loss. They don't play.
I just think
they don't play in.
it is
They don't play in a
such
conference championship game.
A poor mentality to just want to sit back when you could be in the action.
But what is it proving other than you getting a bye when you're already getting a bye because they're going to be playing in a conference championship
I
game?
want to be in a conference championship game.
That's pride.
I wanna
It's all
win
about pride. At
Is
that
it-
point, it is.
At the end of the day, it's
Is it
sports. Call it what you want. At the end of the day, it's competing, which is what sports is all about.
All right, I'm glad we had that conversation. because-
That was so I'm thinking the exact opposite. I did not like that conversation.
Why?
It was all just. It was like talking to a wall.
It wasn't. I'm trying to show you the opposite side of it.
I get what you're saying,
but
but what I'm looking at this.
I know, but what the way
from-
you're talking about it is it's all about pride. This is being
I'm
smart about it.
I'm talking about. Look, we worked in college for. We understand. Like
Obviously,
every
if
day.
we're there, of course we want to be in it. But from
What are we talking about? Oh my
Of
God!
course.
You're proving my point. Then
no, I'm not.
I don't know
Because
what's
this
happening. I
automatically
legit don't
gives
know
you
what's
a bid.
I don't care. I don't
Okay.
care. Get me to the conference
You'd rather
championship
not
game.
be in it at all than.
I'm not going in thinking like that. Like, oh my god,
That's stupid. Like you to
this
say
whole argument's stupid.
for you to say I'm not thinking like that. Of
No.
course you're not thinking like that.
Then why
But
bring
there's
it up?
still a chance you lose.
I don't care.
Okay.
I do not care. If I had the opportunity to go to a conference championship game and compete for a conference title, I am hoping anything that needs to happen to have that opportunity happen. If we lose, we lose. It sucks. It's going to break my heart. It is what it is. But I could stand up and say I competed for that conference title.
But guess what?
I don't care.
You could have already been in it if you weren't in that game.
I don't care. All right, so now you're going to end up not playing a conference game and losing in the first round.
Why would I lose in the first round?
Because that's a risk you're having to take.
Yeah.
So what happened?
But
You
now
didn't play
you're
for a
in-
conference title and you just lost in the first round.
But now you are in the thing that actually matters.
I don't think
When
losing
it
the
all
first
comes
round
down to it,
matters.
who cares about a conference? I'm not saying the team. I'm saying as a fan. Would you rather have
I'm not looking at it from a fan's
would you,
perspective.
all right, even as a team perspective, would you rather have a conference championship or a national championship?
That's so dumb because you're
No,
just
it's not.
assuming if you
I'm
have
not.
one, you can't have the other.
I'm not saying
That's literally how you present
I'm
it.
saying
You're
if
like
you
you're saying
lose-
this or that. It could easily be this and this.
I understand that.
I don't think you do.
I do.
I don't
understand
think
if you
do.
win it, you're in too. I get that.
Yeah.
I get
So
that.
what are we talking about?
I get that. But now, if you are in it and you happen to lose, you don't even get a chance for the other one.
I want to compete for that.
I understand what you're trying to say.
I
And
don't
it's more
think you do.
prideful. It's more of a pride
Call
thing.
it what you want. It's competing. It's sports. It's literally why you play and participate in the game.
All right, before we start attacking each other,
I feel like I'm losing my
You said
mind.
your top four. Let's go 5. Who do you think? All right, who are you going to be your conference winners?
Good question.
I'm taking
If we had to choose today, like who will win the conference
like
game?
final rankings, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 12.
And as in like they end up winning their conference.
Who you think is going to win the
Okay.
conference? I think one.
Oregon won.
Really?
Yeah.
My one is Ohio State.
Really?
I think Ohio State.
Oh yeah, you
wins.
did say. I have Oregon 1. I have Texas 2.
My 2 is Georgia.
It's really tricky because you did bring up a good point with the whole ASU and Boise State thing. I think 3 would be SMU.
Let me check something real quick. SMU schedule. Who do they play this week? Oh, they play the upset heroes. They play Cal. I'm taking Clemson.
Okay, I don't hate
3.
that. 4 probably Boise. I think
4 would be
wins.
Boise.
5 ASU.
And then
12 ASU.
What is it? Big 12. 4 I already have. 4 would be Boise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either going to be Arizona State or Iowa State.
I think Arizona State ends up doing it.
I think whoever wins that game is 12. Like I legitimately think it's 12.
No, for sure.
I'll go Arizona State just because.
I think regardless of
I
who's
think
4 and 12, both end up getting
based off of
thrashed
my
by either Ohio State or Oregon.
Based off of my prediction,
Yeah.
I have it looking a lot different than what it is right now.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to look, by the end of it, I think it will look very different.
And it's crazy because it's looked like this basically the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I still cannot for the life of me understand why Miami's in there.
Yeah. I don't get it either.
And not in like the entire bracket. They probably should be. They have 1 loss.
Yeah.
But a 3.
3 is pretty crazy.
Unless they legitimately think Clemson loses this week to South Carolina. Possible.
There's a chance of that, yeah.
And I mean, SMU plays Cal. So I mean, maybe they think SMU's going to lose to Cal. I don't think they lose to Cal.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't either.
I think at the end of it, SMU ends up winning the ACC at this point.
I think Clemson, this is a double-edged sword. It's implying if this happens, this will happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say Clemson just because I think they beat South Carolina. And if they beat South Carolina, I think they beat SMU.
I feel you on that.
Well, that was that was something.
I don't even know how long this video is.
I don't know. I feel like we didn't argue too long.
Nah, I don't know. I hope not. Yeah, it's
We're about
pretty
to
late.
find out soon, though.
We are. Thank you for watching. We need to know
What
you
approach
guys
would you
think.
take?
Yes.
Not even, and like, to be completely transparent, if I'm working for the team, of course I'm going with that side.
was the viewpoint I was approaching with the
I know, but
entire
why would you take
time.
that? We don't work for those teams. If you're a fan of those teams,
I wasn't looking at it from a fan
why?
perspective. Because I'm just used to being in the mentality of
I almost
like
said something.
we are. Tell us what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say you're a little crazy.
Oh, okay. I get what you were gonna say. I don't know because we were in it. I don't know. I'd like that's just
No, I get that. But
naturally
from
where my
a fan,
head went
if
to.
you're a fan of Tennessee, you're telling me.
If I'm a fan of Tennessee,
would you rather have them win the SEC
If-
championship
all right, I'll
or the
say this.
national championship?
I'll say this: if I'm a fan of Tennessee, I can see myself being a lot more open to your scenario than my scenario. If I'm a fan,
Same with Penn State.
yeah, I would see because you're thinking it's. I would relate it to, and I know it's very different, but I would relate it to like when you want your team to tank in the NFL because in the long run it would be better.
To somewhat of a
I would
degree,
say
not
that's
really.
that's as much as because like you don't want to not that you don't want to win out you're thinking of the bigger picture as a fan, whereas when you're in that facility, you're on the team and stuff. The only thing you're thinking about is we need to win now. Do anything you can to just win now.
Yeah.
So that's the perspective I was looking at it. We're in it, we gotta win it now.
I mean, I get it, but like, I can't believe you were so against me.
Yeah, no, I think if I was on Tennessee and anyone in that facility, regardless of their title or position, even said to me, I hope we do not make the conference title.
I just think
probably will backhanded them.
I just think it gives you that much. I definitely would have said that scenario to you. If
I'd be like, I cannot believe you're even.
I'm not saying I hope it happens, but I'm saying, hey, it's not the worst thing in the world.
But that's what I literally said that. I was literally like, look, if I'm Tennessee, I want Georgia to lose. However, if they win, I'm not going to be upset about it.
You just were very upset about it because that's the scenario.
Because I wouldn't prefer it over them.
Chill out, Velcro.
No, it's because I hate how it's lined up right now.
I know it's so loud.
Oh, my bad. Because because if I had to choose, I would want to be in the conference title. Like if it was up to me, put me in the conference title. And from there, whatever happens, happens. But I want to dictate. And again, if they win it, they're automatically in. That's cool and all. But if you're telling me there's a chance I could say we're the kings of the SEC and we could get that first round bye and we could say we're on top, a million times I'm taking that chance.
I think I'd be more conservative.
And to me that's just crazy.
I'd rather give myself the for sure shot of being in the playoff.
I don't know. Again, as a fan, I could see.
I even think if I'm not saying for sure this is my like stance if I was on staff.
Yeah.
But if I was on staff, I'd be like, do we care as much about an SEC championship? Which again, you just said if they were to make it to the first round of the playoff, they're probably playing Georgia, right? That's what's the scenario right now.
Maybe, yeah.
You said they're getting thrashed by them. What gives you the thought that you're going to beat Texas?
Because then it's at Tennessee rather than being at Georgia.
Not.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm saying for the SEC championship. Like, you would rather be in the SEC championship?
Yeah. Like, I want to.
I know, but why wouldn't they get thrashed by Texas if they're going to get thrashed by Georgia?
You know what? Maybe they will.
That's what I'm saying.
But
it's
like
the same scenario.
But like at that point, like I don't even care at that point.
This is a bigger dance.
I get it's a bigger dance, but like
I'd rather have that shot of at least giving myself a chance of making the national championship.
I get what you're saying, but like if you came up to me was like, hey, you could choose this or this. You want to compete for a conference championship? You want to sit back and just watch it all unfold? Like, nah, put me right in the middle. I want to compete for that thing. I want to say we're the kings of the South.
That's cool. that you can say that. I'm not on that side.
All right, then. I just please let us know who sounds crazier.
Would you rather have a chance of winning the SEC championship with an automatic bid to be a bye, or sit out the conference championship game, get yourself a 9th or an 8th seed, and see how it goes from there. See where your chips fall.
Yeah, honestly, I think that entire debate could be just one video.
Summarized into that sentence right there.
Hopefully,
I wish I started out with just saying that.
I will say, in the first like 10 minutes, it was a little hard to understand where you were going at. Just because like Ohio State, Indiana were brought up, and then like all these like
I kind of messed up.
I was like, where are we going? I'm not going for a while. I was like, where are we going with this? So yeah, and I mean, anything else you want to add? I feel like
Notre Dame's frauds. They shouldn't be in the tournament.
I don't want to go that far, but like
they lost to Northern Illinois.
I know, crazy. I don't know.
No other team in that entire picture right now.
I agree.
Has a close loss like that.
No, I completely agree with you on that.
They shouldn't be in it.
Who would you have? You don't think they should be in it at all?
No.
Who would you have in it rather than them?
I would put in.
Remember, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a P4 school.
Indiana for sure.
I mean, but they're already in it. I'm saying like who's not in it now that you would put in. And doesn't even necessarily have to be the 7th seed. Like, they're just in it. That they're not in it right now.
Clemson?
It's not a bad choice, honestly. Yeah, I could see you adding a second ACC team or a second Big 12 team.
Depending on how that Big 12 conference championship goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem with the Big 12 is they all have 2 losses conference-wise.
I never remember.
The best record for the 3rd – again, that's the perfect example right there. Arizona – so let's say these two make it, right?
Yeah.
9-2, 9-2,
to the conference
9-2,
title.
right? Yep.
Yeah.
They're all 9-2 right now.
Yeah.
BYU, Arizona State, Iowa State are all 9-2.
Yeah.
Let's say they all win this week. They go to 10-2, right?
Yeah.
Arizona State and Iowa State play each other. One of them's fallen to 10-3. That team's going to be 10-2. You're going to penalize Iowa State for being in the conference championship game, and now they're completely out of it when BYU's 10-2 and they're considered maybe a potential spot now.
I don't think BYU would even be in it at that point.
I know, but it's more of a sake of a Tennessee. Like, that was more the Tennessee sake. Like, that's why I was making that argument.
I see where you're coming from. I just think, like, if you present me with the opportunity to play in a conference championship game,
and I understand
I'm taking
that as well.
Like, I don't care who we have to play when we're playing them. You put me in that game.
No, I get it. I do. But I think I would take a safer approach. And let's go out to say, hold on, here's another one. Instead of Clemson, let's say it flips this week. South Carolina beats Clemson.
Yeah.
Why not throw South Carolina in there?
How many losses do they have?
They have 3.
Then at that point, I think I would rather take a 3-loss Georgia over a 3-loss South Carolina.
That's assuming Georgia loses.
Yeah. I mean, just for the sake of this exercise.
Yeah.
That's how I would go about it. I would rather have a 3-loss Georgia than a 3-loss South Carolina.
Do you think Bama's out? I think Bama's
I think most likely they are than they're not.
All right. No, hold on. One more scenario, and then I promise we're going to end it. Texas A&M beats Texas this week.
Oh, man. Why would you do this to me?
6-2, 6-2, 6-2, 6-2.
I kind of hope A&M beats Texas this week.
Now what?
It's not my job. I'm not on the committee.
What happens next? We want to know what you guys
what would you do at that point?
At that point, and again, I think that helps Texas.
Okay, you want to be honest
because
with you?
they'd be out of it. They wouldn't be in the conference championship game.
They
would have 2 losses still.
I was going to say at this point, I think regardless, Texas is in the playoff no matter what.
That's what I'm saying. Because if they lose this week, they're 6-2.
Yeah,
10-2 total.
But that's my whole thing. If I'm Texas, I want to be in it.
I get it. But even if you were to lose this week somehow, and I'm not saying you are going into the game hoping we lose.
Yes, it's not the end of the world if you lose this week, but like, I wouldn't be in
That's
it.
just the sake of Tennessee that I'm making. Like, if I'm a Tennessee fan, of course I want to win this week. I wouldn't be mad if Georgia wins this week, though.
That's what I was saying.
Best case scenario, Texas wins too, because then I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Of the conference championship game, don't have to worry about losing another game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty safe of being in it now. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lot of conversation. I think you got way more upset than what was really meant to be upset about.
Because, like, it was just...
Was it confusing?
At first, yes. And then the fact that you were like, that's insane. Like, it wasn't computing with me why it's insane to want to compete for a conference championship. Like, even now, like, how is it insane to be like, put me in the conference championship game?
I'm not saying
I don't get how... But you were.
I'm saying
you were.
You are. I was saying you're insane because you were for sure giving yourself a win in the conference championship game. That's what you were doing. You were saying when I was saying, well, you could lose. You were saying, well, why would I ever think we're going to lose?
Yes, that's my whole point.
Like, because you could.
Of course we could, but like, who cares? Go who cares in it. Because put the gloves on and go in it.
Who cares?
Yeah,
the fans. Because if you lose that game, you're out of this.
It is, but like,
and I know I keep saying this.
It is,
I'm pointing at the playoff bracket. If you guys are confused about why I'm pointing at something,
we should put the bracket up on the video.
Yeah, probably.
Probably should. Will we figure out how to?
No.
All right, no, we're not good at the whole editing and digital.
We're not good at any of this.
The
really.
Technical.
We just got a huge argument about this, and this wasn't even really supposed to be the point of this video. But it's gonna be that. And we went through our 5 schools again. I'm going Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson. No, yeah, Clemson, Boise, Arizona State.
And I'm going Oregon, Texas, SMU, Boise State, Arizona State.
The complete opposite is me, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Basically.
All right. Well, we're going to end it there. You want to plug some stuff?
Yes. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Twitter at PM Football Podcast. Comment down who's crazier in this scenario.
What side are you taking?
Yes. And let us know in the comments what else you want to see. Anything else?
I'm all set. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, and see you next week.
See ya.
Enjoy the final week of college football, final regular season week.
Pray Michigan beats Ohio State. Pray for the sake of the funness.
Just the chaos.
Pray Texas A&M beats Texas.
Let's pray all the favorites end up losing.
It's not impossible.
Let's just stir it up.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right.
See you next week.
See ya.